Hi all, and welcome back to the Watch Lobby. In today's video, we'll be taking a closer look at a watch that when released went rather unnoticed. I'm talking about the Seiko Cyclops SSA001. This piece was released around 2012 and I added mine into my collection around 2014. At the time this was priced right around 400 Aussie dollars. Coming from the superior lineup, if you're a Seiko fan, that doesn't really mean much other than the marketing approach Seiko have taken to all their watches. But nonetheless, in my opinion, this is one cool watch. Let's start off with the case measurements. Measured diagonally, it comes in at 44.5mm. However, that's when measuring topside where the bezel itself overhangs from the case. Measuring from underneath without taking the bezel into consideration, it comes in at 42.5mm. Measured to include that 430 crown, it comes in at 48.2mm. A lug to lug of 50mm with a lug width of 20mm and a thickness of 13.7mm. Sized up for my roughly 7-inch wrist, it weighs in at 156 grams. There really isn't much to say about the case, just a simple polished side case with an integrated crown guard at 430. The crown itself has a blue ring which lines up with the crown guard when the crown is pushed in and closed. Generally, those subtle touches are used to help indicate if the crown is pushed in or not, as this piece doesn't have a screwed down crown. The case is just simple, subtle, and well executed. This isn't the piece to start showcasing all the cool things you can do as a watchmaker on the case. There's already a lot going on topside, which we'll take a look at now. Taking a top-down look at the Seiko Cyclops, we see there's a lot going on. For most people, you'll be drawn straight to one of two things. Either the 24-hour indicator at 12 or the slide rule bezel. For me, it was the slide rule bezel. Having never actually owned a slide rule prior to this, but being intrigued, this seemed like the perfect option for me. Now, I know in this day and age, there is almost no use for things like slide rule bezels, as everything we need is available to us on our mobile phones, but that was beyond the point. I personally took the time to learn a little bit about slide rule bezels and their operation, which I'll go over in another video, so this video doesn't stretch out and bore those of you that aren't interested. I'll link that video in the description below. But in the meantime, back to watch specs. The bezel itself is a bi-directional friction slide rule, meaning no clicks, it just glides along. In this instance, with a blue aluminium bezel insert with the scale printed in gold text. Taking a step in, we have the fixed portion or the tachymeter scale, which is used in conjunction with the slide rule. Finished off in a polished steel with lightly engraved and applied black markers. Moving in once again, we see the blue chapter ring, which in this instance seems to be well aligned. Stepping down from the chapter ring, we have a really cool blue waffle dial. Guys, as a warning, don't Google that. That dial is just absolutely stunning. When caught in the right light, it has that sunburst effect, all while keeping the waffle texture. One of my favourite aspects of this watch. On the dial itself, we see applied polished hour markers with a small amount of Seiko's LumiBrite Lume atop. At 4 o'clock, we see a polished date window looking into a black date wheel, with the Seiko logo applied at 3 and the words automatic 100 meters at 6. And of course, what you can't miss is that silver 24-hour indicator at 12. It's a bit of a useless feature in my opinion, but I guess it looks cool. The 24-hour dial itself has concentric rings creating a contrasting texture to the waffle dial. Topping off the dial, we have a super simple black and white sword design handset, again with Seiko's LumiBrite Lume inside. A great choice of hands. Anything intricate on this piece would have just pushed it over the edge with how much is already going on. Flipping the watch over, we see a display caseback with some print on the underside being the words Seiko, Made in Japan, water resistant 10 bar, and stainless steel, along with the reference. Looking through the caseback, we see Seiko's in-house 4R37. Essentially a 4R36 minus the date wheel, which was replaced by the 24-hour indicator. It has roughly 40 hours of power reserve, it hacks and hand winds with a quick set date, all while beating at 21,600 beats per hour. Again, just a tried and true robust Seiko movement. Now, admittedly, this is the only Seiko movement I've had issues with so far. About 1 year into ownership, the piece would lose about 30 minutes in a 24-hour period. A simple service, and it's been going strong ever since. Now, let's take a look at the bracelet. Really, nothing to write home about, as expected from a Seiko at this price point. Hollow end links that meet up to a solid bracelet link, which has roughly 2mm of taper down to the clasp. We also get the standard pressed Seiko clasp with a signed flip lock and a double trigger release. There are 4 micro adjustments on the clasp, so finding a comfortable fit wouldn't be too big of an issue. As for comfort, I can't complain too much. It doesn't hurt or dig into the skin at any point. My biggest gripe with Seiko bracelets at this price point is the well-known Seiko rattle. It would have been nice to see something a little more substantial, as there are no fitted bracelet options out there for this piece. Personally though, after a few months of ownership, the bracelet was removed and it's been on a different number of straps from NATOs to leathers ever since. I literally just put it back on the bracelet for this video. As my final conclusion of the Seiko SSA001, I've really enjoyed owning this piece. Back when working in an office wasn't such a distant memory, this used to be one of my go-to pieces. It's cool, versatile and rugged. You could wear this on a bracelet or any strap combo you desired really. If you don't mind the busy aesthetics and are intrigued by a slide rule bezel, I'd say keep an eye out for this. Like all Seikos from 5 to 10 years ago, this was extremely well built. Amazing quality for the price. However, if you like minimalistic pieces, I'd say keep away. There is so much going on with this piece that it's far from minimalistic. And with that, we've come to the end of another video. If you like watch related content, it would mean a lot if you could like, comment and subscribe. And stay tuned for more content. Like always, thank you for watching and stay safe.